And see, I can't be told what I want. Yet the one wine baby. And a James say, Subura biare ni wa. Si asem oka. Etumi eye de. Emma bitter water, any sweet water. Waka on him oko.
So James just writes to us in James chapter 3 verse 11 that the fountain sent forth at the same place sweet water and bitter water. And he leaves it at that. He doesn't go on to expand or expatiate on the reality of it.
Kase Yohani Ninta Eba be kyerɛ sɛ obofo bi wɔ so ani din de Wormwood ɔtɔ nsuo mu a na ayɛ bitter water.
So interestingly, it takes John, the brother of James, to bring us the revelation of Jesus and make us understand in Revelation chapter 8 verse 11 that the name of the star is called Wormwood, and a third part of the waters became wormwood, and men died of the waters because they were made bitter. There is an angelic being whose name is Wormwood. When he comes into contact with waters, he makes it bitter. It took John
to explain.
That's one verse. Few words. James must be a man of few words.
On kasa bebre. Na say o yen enjoy class
aneti. No processing. No wager. Wow. Subura bi eni
It's loaded.
Too loaded. Obi or how you won't even appreciate the place of James na here can one seven.
Is there any well, is there any fountain that sends forth at the same instance sweet water and bitter water? And reading it at face value, you don't, okay, what is sweet water? What is bitter water? It takes John in a heavenly encounter,
sir, to explain to us.
Plus what Jay was sitting in his room writing.
And yasem kitwa. Enti yehunu say bofo bi edin the Wormwood. Na Wormwood no osan so ye dua bofo. Na saa bofo no ye dua bofo. Se obeto ensuo mu a no ama ensuo no aye nwonwo no. Ye hia de odi akwa bibi o. Na ne me pese me kadua bi ho asem ankasa. E kira ma ye hunu se dua no ye sunsun. Na sisi fie.
Dua no sunsun.
Dua no ye sunsun onsi ho kwa. No bi o we ni bi o so onim sunsun na eni adanse enye chinyede. Wa wo hunu ye nka so hunu nkofo bebre be ba be kan yo mo pe me mfa ho. Me se nia mi hunu me ni so sunsun ene ye di ho adanse kyresem. Nti enye listen, I wouldn't have that time to answer anybody. Me ehu hia. Me say dua bi bofo. Dua ni din the Wormwood. Bofo no su din the Wormwood. Na say dua no koto ensuo no mu a. Bofo ni di ekire koto ensuo no mu. Na bofo no koto ensuo no mu a, o de say dua ne na koto sa ensuo no mu. No a hunu ensuo no, na ensuo na ba be better. Obi biara obenum sa ensuo no bi biara onyem a ebe sei obepon. Se nyame ampata onipa no obewu.
This is interesting.
Startling. Now, James writes one verse of scripture, and it takes his brother John several decades later to get a revelation from the heavens and to bring us insight into that one verse.
Sanity.
And in bringing us understanding into it, number one, we see from scripture that there is an angel that is known as Wormwood. Beyond this, in God's creation, this angel that is Wormwood oversees a cluster of plants that are called Wormwood. And it is interesting to note that this angel, by the agency of this plant, turns water into bitter water. And any person who comes into this bitter water will come under the influence of its judgment. It will shadow for you to think, but it is the spiritual reality, and shortly the man of God will take us into it, that there is a particular plant that exists, especially in a close environment. That's what makes it interesting. It's not some way far away in the bush. It's in proximity of our immediate environment, which is actually spirit in nature. And in like manner, you should appreciate that this wormwood that we are talking about is both an angel and he oversees plants that are known as wormwood. And by means of contact of this wormwood plant with water, it turns it into bitter water. And when it becomes bitter water, it becomes an instrument, an implement for effecting judgment. To the extent that if a pregnant woman comes into contact with this bitter water, she will miscarry immediately. That's how potent it is.
Enti, ye be say I won't say. You can Revelation chapter 8 now. You can verse 9 to 11.
Revelations 8:9. And the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven.
See,
burning
there
as
fell
it were
what?
a great star from heaven.
Uh-huh.
Burning as it were a lamp. And it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters.
Okay, wait, on your fallen angel. Sir, they fell. No, he is not talking about the fallen angel.
Okay.
No.
It's more we are being quiet. He said, wormwood, no, or a demon. There be on your demonic, on your fallen prince.
Okay.
Or he came down, and he came down as a burning lamp. Entity as a okita revelation. Or the canyon and or the high neighbor. Now, obeto in shoes. Now, a third part of the waters were what?
It became bitter.
Verse 10.
And the verse 10. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp. And it fell upon the third part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of waters.
Kai. So once it fell upon the fountains of waters. A day na Yakubu
Can a fountain bring out bitter water and sweet water?
Enti sa angel no sane bae no. On say your angel in charge of waters. But so ono no oba angel in charge of waters hwe no ma ne be ye n'adwuma. Na n'adwuma no oba be ye no. O de wo say ye ne owuo nenam. Na onyankopon na asoma no so meye sa adwuma nti onye evil spirit nyame atemu
ti se na eja nyame wo angel of death
sa
ye nyame apedie
sa
o nyame ebu aten fa ni pebi so ana fa dasani bi so a nyame e wo na brafo
sa
on di sa adwuma ne ma no sa na wormwood
ono so sa na ote onye fallen being
The atembo nenam.
Or the atembo enenam. And you come back to Revelation 9. Or say, and the name of the star is called
Wormwood.
And the third part of the waters became the
Wormwood.
Into Nisu. Nishoni fa Nisu. And also soon you be sua sa de no. Maybe a next
maybe two question abasisi a.
And no ntin na nsuo bi da ye frɛ nsuo ni din sɛ. Because bofo
patana
onye ni din no bofo ni din no nti nsuo no so nye. Sɛ bofo bi si nsuo bi mu a ɔde nisu ɛma nsuo no. Ɛma nsuo no fa bofo nisu. It is a healing angel. Eto nsuo bi mu a anaso osi nsuo bi mu a oma nsuo no be ye healing water.
Okay.
Wormwood angel susu si nsuo bi mu a oma nsuo no be ye wormwood water. Enti kai se yesua dada se nsuo ni ahohom enenam. Enti honhom kra oye adwuma wo nsuo no mu no nisu ene yedi hunu nsuo no. Obefa bofo no ana honhom kro ni nsuo nisu pepepepepepepepe.
Nyana mpenyin se senia se kantie ne saa na bohatie na senia owo nante ne saa na oda. The matter of bitter water exposes us into the realm of the spirit in a very unique way. Firstly, we should appreciate and understand that wormwood is not a fallen angel, as in it's not part of the angels that fell in following Satan or in following Lucifer in the fall that was recorded in the pre-Adamic world. We should understand that in the scriptures speaking of him in Revelation chapter 8, It's actually he descended
Yes.
from the heavens.
Yes.
And so it makes us know that he is a godly being, and he is a godly being of judgment. Just as God has an angel of death that executes judgment of death. And the man of God, Pastor Obed, has taken time off to deal with the matter of death, the angel of death, and all that. You can find all those videos on our YouTube channel. And so this angelic being, who is known as Wormwood, is a godly being. And the interesting thing is that when he comes into contact with water, the water takes on the likeness of his being. And this goes to present the truth that when you hear the names of certain water bodies and the characteristics they have, it is actually the water body takes on the characteristic of the angelic being or the spirit being that inhabits or resides in it. And so the name of the spirit being is actually the name that is reflected in the characteristics of the water body that you find.
Saa na tie pepepe. Nti Wormwood su nsuo bi mu a no ama nsuo no aba dey. Wormwood. Saa.
Nti Wormwood si nsuo no ma. Nsuo ne be Wormwood. Nsuo na be Wormwood na e bitter water.
E bitter water.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
nti kan ko na hwe ade. And many did what?
And many men died of the waters
Because
they were made bitter.
And what's the meaning of Wormwood? Bitterness. Pepepe. Saa no so tie.
Wow.
That's what we na chese ade ye sunsum ade a ade se nyame nam ne difo bi ohu sunsum akọ ekyire. Eda ne ntia meka saa ne se wo kasa ya no asem bi wo kyerɛ se mma ba mitrim. Se Elisha kopie kuro bi so. Na nkrofo ne kan bi kyerɛ Elisha. Se kuro na setena de nka ye kama wo.
Ye beba so. Because baby a dey fa no e mama ba be kyerɛ ensu fufuro bi sole water. Ana electrolytic water and also be kyerɛ ho asɛm.
Eja uti man mu a te sɛ wo ye sofo wa wo ya
so so wuri nsu e de that any ɛho ensenkaye nyina. Because bebre yan sorry nyini esa nsu a afa kuro na di suntra. And nipa no so mo kuro no mo so mo ye nsuo. Enti wo ehunu nsuo ne ban no ehunu ne nkaye ne nasɛm a ɛne obebre wo kuro no. Se kuro bia wo tumi edi so. Ɛna se nsuo wo kuro mu nko ade a ɛne oboa. Se nsuo wo kuro bi mu de a oboa.
Ahonhom pe nsuo.
Na
se nsuo wo kuro no mu. Ahonhom edi hu dwuma.
Omedi hu dwuma ten.
There's asofo na ehu nsuo no ho senkae a.
Ombebre. Bre pa na bebre.
And sorry bebre su ko si asori dan no nsuo.
Na se Ghana ha de nsuo hu na ye si ye sorry dan. Ena efo. Etufo bo.
O da bi ho na ho.
Etufo bo.
Ahun pesu.
Etufo bo he. Mo pa mo ma ye nka no kure pa. Sorry kesi e bi e wo Ghana e bia be nsuo. Say ho no na efo.
Papa ni esu aso ne say ahun su pensuo. E di esan say na me ho wasori ni no.
Yes ra o seri yes ra o. Easy ya.
Be ya se na kwata po. So for esi na dan wo nsuo. So for timi timi aso dan no. Timi timi na wo trem no go si nsuo.
Say nimdie no ni.
So the man of God is presenting the discourse that we are literally surrounded by water. It is even said scientifically that 80% of the Earth's surface is covered up by water. And so there is need to appreciate and understand the different kinds of waters that we find in the unique environments that we find ourselves residing. You may be a pastor, you may be a businessman, you cited your business or your enterprise or your church in an environment with proximity to water. And interestingly, especially in our parts of the world, a lot of churches find themselves being sited close to water bodies or in waterways or in water-logged areas. Typically, those lands are quite cheaper. And so, so if you lack understanding concerning the nature, the characteristics, the spiritual conditioning, and even the ruling entity over that water body, you will be doing yourself great harm, and you will be bringing debilitating effects to the enterprise you are engaging in if you do not know this truth.
And you want him to say, okay.